Okay, you got an assignment, 12 problems. We're going to do two together, and then you're going to go. I'm going to show you how to do each one. Okay, this is new. This is new. This is based off of our lesson from yesterday, but we are now going to do something called solve the triangle. To solve the triangle means to find all parts of the triangle. So you got to pay very, very close attention here to what we're doing, okay? It says let C equal 90 degrees for all triangles. So what we're going to do is we're going to label this angle the right angle. That looks like the right angle, correct? Or call it C. Big C, capital C. And then it doesn't matter what you call it, A or B. I will call this A, and I will call this B. What is angle B? 32 degrees. Now, when it says solve the triangle, it means it wants all these parts. Big A, big B, big C, little a, little b, little c. Big angle C is always 90 degrees. What is angle B? True or false? I can now figure out what angle A is. How? How? All three angles of a triangle must sum to 180 degrees. One of the basic principles that you learned from geometry. So therefore, if you do the mathematics, you get 58 degrees is angle A. Now I got the three sides to find. Which side do I already know? C is, look at that. I mean, I only have two left to find now. Everything else was pretty simple so far, wasn't it? Okay, so this is what you need to be able to understand right now. This is super important. Otherwise, you will not be successful on this part of the test. Little letter C, that's a side. Letter B, that's a side. Little a, that's a side. The big ones are angles. Side C is opposite angle C. That's the way it always works in mathematics. The side is opposite the angle. So this side right here, is this side A or is this side B? B, because it's opposite angle B. How about this one? Side A. So I only need to find two sides now to solve this triangle. Solving the triangle means you find all six parts to it. So I want to be able to solve this triangle. In order to do so, I have to find side A or B, and then I can use the Pythagorean theorem the rest of the way. So I'm going to use one of my trig ratios, okay? You tell me, would you like, I'll draw my angle first. I've got this angle 32. If you wanted to use the 58 instead, you could, but I'm going to draw this 32. So I have 8 and A. Which trig function, sine, cosine, or tangent, will involve 8 and A? What side is 8? The hypotenuse. And what side is A? It's adjacent. It's part of the angle. So which one has to do with adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine of. What's my angle? 32 degrees is equal to what? A over 8. Cross multiply. A equals 8 times the cosine of 32 degrees. We take out our calculator. 100. Mode. What should I be working in? Degrees. 8. Cosine. 32. Booyah. 6.78. If I wanted to find B, I could use sine or tangent. Or what theorem have we learned in geometry that we can now use to solve Pythagorean theorem? And the Pythagorean theorem in this case would say b squared plus 6.78 squared is equal to 8 squared. Or b squared, whoops, sorry. B squared is equal to, and it would be 8 squared minus 6.78 squared. I have to subtract that over, right? And I get 18.03. How do I solve that? Square root. And watch this, you guys. This is important in trigonometry. I don't have to press 18.0316 when I square root it. I can go second, and I press the negative sign, ANS. That means it takes whatever the previous answer is. See that? Trust me, that will save you time as we move on. We're going to do a lot of stuff like this. And we get 4.25. Is there a question about what I did? I'm going to show you, check the answer. First of all, check the answer. A squared plus B squared should always equal C squared. So if you want to try that, you can do 4.25 squared plus 6.78 squared, and you should get about 64, because we rounded, so it's going to be a little bit off. If you take the square root of that, take the square root of that, you can see you get right about 8, okay? I subtracted the 6.78 squared over the other side. Second of all, here's the other thing you need to learn. This is also crucial. What's the biggest angle? So it should be across from the biggest side. Is 8 your biggest side? What's your smallest angle? 32. Is that the smallest side? Yeah. And what's the angle in the middle? 58, or A? Is that side in the middle of the other two? That's how you compare. Longer side, longer or a bigger angle. Question. Yep, you could square it out and then subtract it over as well. That'd be fine. Okay. I'm just trying to show you some operations that'll save you some time as well. Let's do example 2. This one's a little bit different. Okay. This looks like the 90-degree angle. I'm going to call it C. Help me out. What other pieces of the triangle do I know? Side A is 5. Side B. Okay, so we'll call this, looks like side A is the smaller one. We'll call it 5. So that would be angle A. And then angle B is 12. And that's all I have. Can you find angle C? Or side C, excuse me. How would you find side C? Pythagorean theorem. So A squared is 5 squared plus B squared is 12 squared is equal to C squared. So 25 plus 144 plus 25 plus 144. 169 is equal to C squared. Square root both sides. C is 13. Now I got to find two angles. Did we learn how to find angles yesterday? Yes, we did. Which angle would you like to find, A or B? You tell me. Okay, if you want to find A, I'm going to draw out angle A right here. Okay? So, would you like to use the sides 5 and 13, or 5 and 12, or 12 and 13? It's up to you. You want to use 12 and 13? Okay. Which trigonometric ratio has to do with 12 and 13 for angle A? cosine, adjacent and hypotenuse. So we have the cosine of, what's my angle? A is equal to, what's the ratio? 12 over 13. How do I solve that on my calculator? Remember from your practice yesterday? Good. Inverse cosine. So second cosine or cosine inverse of 12 divided by 13. And that will find the angle for you. The angle is 22.62 degrees. Now that you have side A or angle A, can you find angle B? How? Subtract. So 180 minus 90 minus 22.62, and we get 67.38. These are two examples of solved triangles where you have A, B, and C for the sides, A, B, and C for the angles. Now, yesterday we just solved for individual sides, correct? Today we're solving the whole triangle. Do you think on the test I'm going to ask you to solve for individual sides or the whole triangle? I'm going to have you do both, actually. I'll give you a couple of shorter problems where it's just a side, and I'll give you a couple of problems where it's the whole triangle. So please make sure that you really internalize this and learn this well. Do you want to, where are you at? Do you feel like you could go on your own, or do you want to practice another one together? Okay, so which one would you like to practice together? Number one? Okay, what we'll do one more together. We'll do number one, okay? I found my 90-degree angle. What do we call that? Angle C. So that's 90 degrees. Whoops, sorry. That was the side. I'm sorry. Made a mistake. Angle 90 degrees. Thank you. And then angle A is 48. So it doesn't. I try to usually have it match up so it matches with the drawing. 48 is going to be bigger than the other angle, isn't it? So I'll try to choose the bigger angle for A. So A is 48 degrees. And then side A is 20. So which one here is 20? What side is this? Will B. What side is this? Very good. All right. Finding the other angle is easy. How do we do it? Subtract from 180, and we get 42 degrees. Right? That's no big deal. If I could find one side, then I could use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? I'm going to label this angle A as 48 degrees. And I'm going to draw out my angle. And really, you get to choose, folks. Would you like to find B or C? It's up to you. Can we find B? Just because we haven't done this example yet. Okay, so if I want to find B, I use the 20, correct? Like I couldn't use C and B because I don't know either of those. But I paired up with 20. So which trig function has to do with 20 and B? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Tangent. 20 is opposite and B is adjacent. C is the hypotenuse. So opposite over adjacent. So I set up my trig function. The tangent of what? 48 over 1 is equal to 20 over B. I cross multiply. b times the tangent of 48 degrees is equal to 20. Divide both sides by. So on my calculator, I do 20 divided by the tangent of 48. 18.01, round to the nearest hundredth. Can we now find C? How? How? Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So my answer squared plus 20 squared, 724.29. What do I do to both sides? $26.91. Okay. You need to practice. Okay. I'm gonna make the answer key quick, but you're gonna want to practice this, and then you're gonna want to ask me for help. But please don't waste time. If you like to do this is laid out the same way, guys. In all the odd problems, you're given an angle and a side. In all the even problems, you're given two sides. So for all the even problems, you have to inverse cosine or inverse tangent or inverse sine. For all the odd problems, you don't have to inverse. So they follow just like the examples from up above. So focus on that. I will make up the answer key, and you have 26 minutes to work. So should be able to actually possibly get it done.